And then we record this and I put up on the internet. So if you ever want to go back, got something, you have a reference point.
Okay, great.
So here, Great. So, I'll just say hi. So, with Harley, we've been, of course, teaching them all 6 commands: sit, down, stay, come, heel, and then place, which is where he's at right now. Okay. Have you guys ever trained a dog before? Never. Okay. So this is completely all new. Okay. So today's going to be about just kind of explaining how we're going to use this, all the stuff that he knows, and then we'll start getting you guys used to working with him. Okay. What does Harley's life look like? Like, if you could have what you wanted with Harley, what does that look like?
For him to be a calm.
Okay, calm.
And so, like, if I'm in the kitchen, I would like him to be next to me, laying down.
Okay.
We're in the living room next to us, laying down. Or if we would pet him and stuff, you know.
Sure.
And then walking him, be able to walk. No issues.
Okay, so like now holding,
Right.
yanking. When you walk Harley, or would walk Harley, when's the last time you did walk? Before the training? 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks to a month ago. Okay. When he was sea dog, what did he do?
Nothing. Yeah, we hardly. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Okay. So, there's a couple ways of going about this. One is, of course, with training, you have control. Like you said, if you're the people that gets him over, Harley go down. He's laying down, he doesn't move, he doesn't jump on the gas tank. But it's under control. The other approach is Harley is just free to do what he wants, but you still want him to behave himself. You don't want him jumping.
Right.
Okay? So we're gonna first start with just how we apply control, and then when it comes to corrective behaviors, like right now, I have to put away. Then there's a corrective thing that you don't want to have. Because if Harley is laying down, he can't jump on the person because he can't move. But if he's free to do whatever he wants, he technically can jump on the person. Right? So this is the first. He doesn't have limits. Okay, this is how we stop behaviors, and this is how we get reliable obedience. So like right now, Harley 1. I'm just supposed to 127. I'm at 10. I tapped him, and then before I said, I don't like that. He doesn't like this, right? So I just have quiet. I just did this, and then quiet down by himself. Does that make sense? So I likened this to like getting spanked as a child. So I was raised old school, I was spanked. If I talk back to my mom, I was spanked. If I didn't do my homework, I was spanked. You know, if my mom was going to wash the dishes and I didn't do it, I was spanked. Right? That was the consequence for that listening, not obeying, and things like that. And that's how she got me to do things. Right? So same thing with the dog. So this is kind of like me giving him a little spank. Right? I don't need him to go in order to teach the lesson. Okay? Every dog is different, and 10 out of 127 is a good dog. Yeah, right? So
I think we were at 12 or 15 at home.
We use 17.
Yeah.
When we use one to grab this, it's solid and stuff. It's not forward.
Gotcha. So, when it comes to stuff like that, whenever you're going to correct Harley, you always want to correct him, even if he stops. So, like if like I'm watching TV and Harley starts to bark, and I grab the remote and he shuts up, you still do this. Okay. So what happens is he'll think I'm hard, grab that shut up, you can't do anything, and then he'll keep doing that. And you want to teach him, if you don't want to get this, don't bark.
At all.
Period. Yes. Right? So, I don't want to get a speeding ticket.
Right.
I don't speed. I don't want to get a ticket for running red lights, so I don't run red lights. Right? And of course, for humans, we make mistakes. Like I got a ticket last night, I didn't take parking, so I thought I could get away with it. I didn't, right? So I'm like, yep, should have paid that ticket, right? So it's the same thing for him. If you're always warning him, eventually, like, it becomes more common. He barks and barks more and more. Because he's going, well, you don't pet me, so why should I why should I stop, right? So the consequence always applies. And almost every time I get caught, there's a consequence, right? Every time I get caught by a cop speeding, I get a ticket, right? That's what rules are for. So, but if you're inconsistent, he's inconsistent, okay? So that's one way, and I'm going to give you or send you a couple of videos so that you don't always have to use this, okay? Because in the home, if you just want to stop things, stop jumping, stop chewing, stop barking, you don't need to always use this. There's other tools, okay? Now, if you want him to be under control, Harley, lay down right there, don't move. You want to have this, okay? He doesn't need to wear it 24/7, okay? He only needs to wear this when you need it. You walk him outside, go to the park, guest him over, maybe you want to practice training for a bit, like all those times, other times, you want to have
It's been very stubborn.
He's excited to see it, right? And that's fine. So I'm not holding against them. He's not seeing me in 2 weeks, right? But I still want him to understand that he's under control. So we tend to excuse things, right? Anybody else would say like, oh, the dog, he hasn't seen me in 2 weeks. Let him jump all over you. No. If he was under control, he has to remain under control. He has to start learning this, right? Because if we give him that exception, it becomes a gray area. And he thinks, oh, I can't do this when I want when it comes to mom and dad, right? So we want to be very black and white. So like, let's say Frank's walking Harley, right? And then you're talking to him at the park, and then Harley sees you, Mom! So there's a pool, right? You go, oh, he's just saying hi, Mom. It doesn't matter. If he was under control, then he learns what I want. Back in the pool, right? So it's very strict. The more strict you are, the better Harley is. The less, how do you say, less arguing there is. I don't want to be yelling, heel, sit, 1,000 times. Say it once, the dog does it. Doesn't matter what's going on, he's supposed to be doing stuff. Okay? That's the way I always do it. So, 49. You see how it's not like yelling? 49. Because when because he wants to say hi. Right? So I was at 12 earlier, 10, and then he starts scratching and all this stuff, so I go higher. Because now I'm trying to calm him down more, because he's getting more stressed. He wants to say hi. So then it might take more power. So the 17 or 12 may not always be the answer. Right? So if you're at the park, maybe it's 29. When you have friends come over, maybe it's 60. You know, maybe when he's barking out the window, maybe it's 100. You know, ideally, it's as low as possible, but as high as needed. Okay? So, like, let's say every day Harley chews on a pillow, and you do 12, and it stops the chewing. But then the next day, it's chewing the pillow. And he stops. The next day, it's chewing the pillow. He stops, right? All you're doing is stopping it for that one day. But I don't want him to chew the pillow, period. So then maybe it's 25, and then he stops for like a week. That's a long time, right? And then he tries again, 25. Maybe he stops for a month. See how that got bigger? You should see continuous progress each time you address something. If it seems repetitive, if it seems every day or consistent, it means you're too low. Okay? And this is stuff as you work with them, you take them home and you start practicing everything, it will make a lot more sense. Okay? But almost always, whenever any of the clients are having issues with the dog behaving, it's the number. They're too low. Okay? And you can tell them too high, and you It's usually really big reaction, and then I just get it down and I try it. Okay. Do you have any questions so far, or just questions from before, or anything else? No. Okay. So, here, this little we call this placement, right? This one is the bedroom.
Like a kennel.
It's in the kennel, right? Does he have a bed anywhere else?
No, because we just moved
Sure.
and we're gonna start everything fresh to see what we want.
Okay.
That would work, I guess.
Okay. So when you walk into the home, is it the living room? What's the space
Entrance,
look like?
we enter, it's the kitchen,
Okay.
and then it's to the living room.
Okay. So that front door. So you go up the steps. Front door. That's the kitchen.
Well, right away the laundry room, and then the kitchen,
Okay.
and then the
Living room. Do you in the living room? Do you have like a rug, a carpet, or if you get a dog bed that would fit Harley and have space for it?
yes.
You okay?
We don't have one, but we can afford to get one.
Sure. You have the space to have.
Right.
Okay.
We're waiting for this training to take sex a lot. We can get it. Get it like that.
Okay. So the place command can be anything. It can be like this an elevated dog mat. This is a dog bed from another boarding train that we have here. Somebody came in yesterday and they brought in a yoga mat. You know.
We have the same
We had a placement, but he
I saw.
floor.
Yeah. And the one he has here in the beginning, he nibbled it. We'll put it out, and the rest of it's fine. So when you leave, like you can take that as well. Use that either in this kennel, or you can use it as a placement itself, right?
So it's learned to be or not to be like
Yeah. Well, we also we started taking them out, working with them outside, exercising, and training them outside. But then it's very strict and disciplined here.
Right.
You know, I mean, he could wake up one night and get bored and chew it up, but so far we've not seen that. Other than that initial time he first had it, because I remember he was barking and stuff. Hold it up, shut up. So it could be a towel, it could be a blanket, it could be a carpet, it could be a rug, okay? Place is simply an area that differentiates from everything else. So like if it's a carpet, it can be a really big carpet, and you can walk around with it. So place is just go to this area and don't come off of it. Does that make sense? But here, this is like a bed. So you know, I go off the bed and I don't step off of it, right? It's really fine. But if you have a bigger area, it's perfectly fine. You just can't step off of it, right? So you can use whatever you want. Use a dog bed, use a rug, what have you. But that's the easiest thing for most of my clients. And it's one of the most people's favorite commands. It's so easy. Okay? So when he's here, Harley can stand, sit, lay down, chew the bone, you can play the toy, just can't step off of the area. Okay? So if it was a really thin place, you could even have another dog. Just don't step off the area. Okay? So it makes it less work for the owner because it's just go here, Harley, and I don't care what you do, but just don't leave that area. Okay? When we move to the down command, which lay down like that, it's very strict. Lay down, you don't move. Can't sit, can't stand, that's the lay down just like that. Okay? So that's more strict. So like, let's say you're in the kitchen, because you're in close proximity, it's easier to reinforce. Because if you start to get up and start remoting, you're right there. Right? But if you're 20 feet away, it's easier to have on something like this, because if he starts to step off, you remote and you go back on, but you don't need him to go all the way back down. Okay? Yeah. And what's nice with the place is that you can move it. So like let's say you use a dog bed. You can even take that into the kitchen, pop it down, right? You can take it with you in the car, go to the park, go to a friend's house, throw it on the ground, place. Okay? And you can have one for each room. You can have one that you move around the house. You can have more than one. Okay? So this is like one of the most easiest commands that people that I teach that my clients really love. It's just very easy to apply, and it's not so strict because then they feel bad. Like, well, you said my dog's laying down and they can't move. And I'm like, you're fine. Dogs sleep 6 to 10 hours a day anyways. You're just where it is, but at least it's easier because you don't have to worry about being so strict. Okay? The sit command, of course, sitting down like this is very strict. You can't get up from that position itself. The heel command is the walking with you and not pulling you all over the place. Okay? Stay. So all of our commands sit down in place and apply stay. We don't say stay. I just tell Bobby, place, he goes over there, he doesn't move. Okay, so I don't have to say stay. The only time I say stay is if, let's say, Harley's already laying down in his bed. Because he wanted to, so he can get up. But then I decide, I don't want you to move. Stay. Does that make sense? So if he's already sitting down, he chose to sit down. I didn't tell him to, but then I decide, don't get up. Stay. Now he's in the sitting bed. Same thing for the bed. You walk into the kitchen, he's already laying down on his own terms, you stay. Now you're done. Okay? Then we have the recall or call, which is Harley Consultation. Okay, so you sit down, place, calm, heel, stay. The last thing is break. Break means your job is done. Okay, so when you give a command, think of it as like clocking Harley and he's working. Okay? As long as Harley's working, his job is to only do that thing. So if I tell him to place, that's his job. You go on there, you don't come off, you stay within the area until I lose. Okay? When I say break, he is clocked out, Harley can get up, he can walk around, he can go play, he can run, he can go potty, or he can stay there. Okay? It's his choice. I don't care. But break means that your job is done. Okay? Questions so far?
We're going to get this written out.
Well, we have this here, right? So I'm going to put this up and I'll send you a link.
Okay.
And then you have there's 2 more sessions here, and then you have all the follow-up in the home. So, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to forget stuff.
Right.
It's okay. But that's why we have all that follow-up to make sure that you learn everything. Okay? So now I'm going to discuss how this works. So here, we have a bunch of buttons. Okay? This goes 0 all the way up to 127. Right? On the back here, you have a switch. Regular, auto. If you flip the switch, it goes L63. So it turned 127, right? 27, L63. It has the power now. Okay? I don't worry about it. I always just leave it on red. Okay? All it means is your number is going to be lower. Okay, so we flip this back down and go out. Okay? We have 2 buttons. We need Nick. We're going to be using this Nick button. Okay, it's the phone. Okay? This is the one that we use for training. So with Nick, if I press it and hold it, after this, it feels good. Okay? Because it's continuous. As long as I hold it down, you feel something. When I let it go, it stops. Okay? So you don't worry about this, you just worry about the volume. Okay? So this isn't anything good or bad, it's just as it lasts longer. Okay? On the front, we have the pager, it's just vibrating. Okay, it's all it does. So I don't use vibrator for training.
Like for example.
Yeah, it's like a cell phone, right? So the box when you press it, let go and stuff. So a lot of people like to go sit. Dogs sit and they use the vibrator. More of them are going to shock you. And then they shock you. Right? I don't do that. Because if you do that, he's going to ignore the vibrator. You're creating a delay. Right? Because he thinks sit, vibrate, sit, and then tap. Right? So then he thinks, well, I cannot do it. And I can wait all this time before you're going to actually use it. I give the command, sit, and right away, I'm using the stimulation of the shock. Okay? Because if he thinks Jesse says sit, and it happens, he wants to move very quickly, so he doesn't get it in the first place. Okay? When you give him the opportunity to not do it, he's going to ignore it. Okay? So the only time I use the vibrate is to check if it's on. So if you're training Harley, if you're working with him, and maybe he's not responding around 60, 70, he's doing nothing, right? That's weird. I've got the box, the vibrate, it doesn't vibrate. Oh, it died, you forgot to turn it on, power was low, things like that. Okay? Other than that, I don't use it for any kind of training. Okay? This is a 1 mile range. So plenty of range for the standard family pet. In the city of Chicago, because of the building and stuff, you don't get the full mile. But if you were to be like an open field type of thing, you have the range. This is fully waterproof. You just want to make sure that your tabbier is closed. Okay? Same thing on this collar. This collar is waterproof. You just want to make sure that it's closed so you go swimming in it. It's raining, nothing's going to happen. It's not going to touch you. Okay? This battery here, set that signal, right? That's only for your remote. That's not for the collar. Yeah, a lot of people do. So, the collar is separate, and this light selected screen. Green is fully charged, orange is running low, red is dying. Okay? This thing is 12 charge system. So if this dies, you pop it in for 30 minutes, you get a good amount of juice. You pop it in for 2 hours, it's fully charged. Okay? Correct. Yes. Every time you turn it on, you have to put the dots. There, turn it off, you have to turn the dots. Okay? I can show you. Here, turn this on. Yeah. Red that way, right? Turn that. That's good. And press this on. But right, what I do is I hit the button. Right, so I know it's on. So when you turn it off, same thing. If I touch the red dot, so you can see red light. Ready? It's still on. Red light. It's still on. So you hold it for a second. Now it's off. Okay, so a lot of people, in the morning they're in a rush for work or something, they'll go like this, they'll see the light down, but it's still on. Okay. So I do that test to make sure every time I turn it on that it's actually on, and when I turn it off to make sure that it's actually on.
Is it important to shut it off?
Well, the collar, yeah, because it'll die, right? Because then it's on all day, and then it's running low bed, right? So when you're going to use it for Harley, turn it on, you're done, turn it off, okay? You could leave it on, but then you're going to be charging it every day, right? It's running long hours. The last thing you want is, oh, you'll use it, and then it's dead. Okay. This is a rechargeable lithium battery. So over time, the battery will run out. It takes a couple of years. If that happens, you just call up the company, the battery, it's going to take $20. You open up the battery, and then it's good. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Harley, and you can say hi. He's at the 6th grade day training right now. Yeah, I got a lot of them.
Is it pretty systematically with all the spray names, or it's kind of different?
They all pretty much learn the same. Yeah, they're that's, in my experience, all the ones that I've worked with have been easy to work with. Not to say that there won't come a difficult one, but so far they will be pretty straightforward.
Have you felt that you needed to use the muscle on Harley?
We use the muzzle because he does have to move up with the leash. That's that. So right now, Harley's in place. He's not allowed up until I say right? So he thinks, Mom and Dad are here, just puts me on the leash, I'm gonna go get the say hi. Not until I give you permission. Okay? So if I look around, it doesn't matter if the leash is on, he still has to stay put. Okay? But he's not in the kennel, no problem. Right? Who is it? Yeah, and that bump, the first where that's picture. It's already. It was just from laying in the kennel. Yeah. Just skinny enough.
Now he's exercising.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, because he's been doing much because we can't just do it longer.
And we can up his food if you want. We do it 7 cups, right? 3.5 half and a half?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Another.
Oh, I mean, you're going to eat dogs. I know. You missed two. Ahora está haciendo. Sí.
We can bump them up to like 8. Come on,
I
wait.
really want to do that. Yeah.
But the first few days he didn't eat.
Yeah.
And he has, when you take up the potty stuff, when we take him up the potty, he has a hard time going through there. So is he used to going to the yard?
Yeah.
Does he just go in the yard?
Yeah.
Does he take a long time to push it?
No.
You just go and do it?
So try to play like 5 minutes in there.
Yeah.
Since we don't have the yard, right? I remember he didn't move for like 2 or 3 days. Because he was stressed, right? And he doesn't have the yard anymore. So that means like, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
So I finally got him to poop. So he's only pooped outside like 2 or 3 times. Most of the time, he'll just go in there in the play area. So when we need him to poop, we just go in there, put him in there, poop. He's got to go. So, okay.
But he hasn't had any accidents inside.
No accidents in the kennel. Everything's been outside. The kid be outside, no problem. It's really just the pooping. Yeah. So.
Yeah, he's always been like that since we started him. Like, when we started party training him, we did him for like 2 days.
Oh,
Because
really?
he wanted to poop inside.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Other than that, he's been pretty good about it. Ready? So right there, Harley goes back. Good. 10. So he didn't want to leave you, right? He missed you. He's sticking to you. So I was on 13. I gave a little pull, half. Okay, I'm coming. Okay. Yep. Good. So like right now, I put Harley in the sit, right? And he got up 3 times. I didn't say sit again. I'm just using this. Okay. So if I put him in a sit, Harley's not allowed to move again. He's supposed to keep that butt on the ground until I say break or until I give him another command. Okay. So most people would say sit again or go. You don't want to do that. Okay. You say it one time. He doesn't. If he gets up, if you say sit again, you're resetting. It's just a new sitting. He does not learn, don't get up in the first place. Okay? So, yeah. If I tell him sit, and he starts to stand, and this happens, he goes back. Yep. Yep. And he feels this. He goes back. He goes, oh, if I don't want this to happen, I don't get up. Okay? It's like right now he keeps getting up because now he's distracted by you, right? So I'm not yelling at him. I'm not having to yank him. I'm not having to be forceful. I'm on 10 out of 127. Yeah. Yeah, right? And because he's been conditioned, he knows, oh, I have to behave myself and go back into his position, right? Earlier, he tried to lay down, right? It's not bad. He's just going, okay, if I'm going to move, I'm going to get comfortable, right? Most people would let that happen. You don't want to do that because it's not sit. Sit is this, right? Yep. Good. Sit is this, not this. So if you let him do that, he's making a decision. If he decides, well, I don't want to do this anymore, I want to do this. So if you let that happen, he learns he doesn't have to keep it. So you want to be very strict. Okay? It's a tiny little thing, but people let it go, and then they get upset when their dog's not listening because of all those tiny things, right? So when we have a bigger problem, it's usually the result of a bunch of little problems. So what we do is take care of all the little problems, and a lot of times that big problem goes away. Tap, 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 tap. Good. Relax. Okay, so when we deal with big dogs, people tend to think you have to physically be stronger, right? I had a lady, she has a Great Dane, almost twice his size. The dog is huge, and she's only like 80, 90 pounds. So this dog is like 150 pounds. So he's twice her body weight, right? So she can't control him physically, right? It's all here. You control this, everybody. You control this, you control everything else. Okay? And it's all about using this. So there was times where Harley was like, no, and you would pull at the leash and you would fight and resist it. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, until eventually he goes, okay, I'm going to do it. It was making him make the decision by using this and not trying to force him with physical power. Okay? It's all about controlling the brain. So then once he learned, everybody, place, yeah. Once he learned, once he learned, if I don't protest and I just do what they say, this stays low. But if I start to fight, it goes up, right? So I don't have to be forceful with them. So like, for instance, when he goes like this, I'm not going to do that, right? He did that. When we were teaching him how to walk on his heel, he was like, nope, and he would pull back like this. 10, 15, 20, 25, okay, I'm coming. Boom. Then I go back low again. So that he thinks, if I'm compliant, we're good, right? That's how we start to get mental control. So here, with Harley, when we walk with him, his job is to walk right next to us. And then when we come to a stop, he's supposed to automatically sit. Okay? Now the thing about big dogs, Great Danes, is you see how he's over there, he really should be right here. But because they're so long with the hips, they tend to give space. Okay? Typically, I would want this. Okay, but because I understand his mechanics, I don't care if this happens, as long as he's being good about not pulling and being here. Okay? Because this is family pet stuff. I don't need him to be perfect. I just need this to be functional. Okay? So if I'm walking with Harley and I'm completely relaxed and he's walking beside me and following my lead, it doesn't matter if there's dogs, people, cars, goose, squirrels. This is what I expect from Harley. Okay? I don't want any tension in that leash. Okay? He knows to walk right next to me. Okay? To the point of where we don't even need the leash, and I go off to the park, and Harley's right here. Okay? That's what we're training towards. That's distracted. Very good. Good. Down. Yep. Yep. Right. Then there's the down. Okay. So sit down, place, come, heel, stay. Those are all the commands I need to learn.
You're teaching by word or sign?
Word. Okay. I do everything by word. One of my biggest pet peeves is when people go down, down, sit, heel. Okay, signs are good to have, and I don't mind sit, but if I can just say sit and not need this, I don't want to have it, right? Most people, like if they say down, the dog doesn't do it. They tend to do this. Everything's do this now. This makes the behavior happen, right? So right there pops up. He makes a mistake. I didn't say down again. I just started tapping, helped him a little bit, he did the rest. Okay? So this most people, when they use this, they think you teach the dog to lay down. When they don't lay down, punish them. That's how most people think this works. And it's wrong. Okay? You have to teach the dog using this how to lay down, how to sit, how to go there, how to walk here. You have to use this to teach them. Otherwise, if that happens, he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't connect. He doesn't understand. He's not a human. Okay? So we've shaped everything using this. So when we were first teaching Harley how to lay down with the collar, so you saw how I stepped on the leash. I was using pressure on the back of his neck to guide him down. He was like a bull, just jumping, right? And he'd go between the legs like this, right? And I just kept it. I kept stepping on it. Eventually, boom. Oh. When I feel this, it means to do this, right? And then everything stops. And that's how we've conditioned it, okay? And I don't need to say stay. Once I've cued the down, he's supposed to hold it, okay? If he makes a mistake, I use this to reinforce it. Questions so far? So this is the command. If I tell Harley to down, remember, it's not like place. He has to be like this. Now, he can go like this, roll on his hip, he'll be on the side. I don't care. He'll be on his back. I don't care. What I care about is, when I tell you to lay down, you don't move 2 hours, 3 hours, right? I don't care how you do it, just don't move. Okay? Because sitting or laying down like this, you can see right here, on his hips, it's uncomfortable. Okay, it's not realistic to expect him to hold this for a long time, right? And when we first started teaching him how to like lay down on the mat, he was so like stressed, he would lay like this for like an hour. Before finally he was like, he would give in to it, right? It's normal. That black Russian right there, that big dog too, he did the same thing. When he would lay down, right? Or he didn't lay down for like the first 5 days. He would just sit there. Like he would be there sitting for 2 hours. He was so uncomfortable. But eventually it's exhausting. The mind can't do it anymore. The body's too tired. Eventually you go, oh, okay. And they give it up. Okay? Yep. 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 Good. Right. That was like 6 ECAPs. And I'm not in a rush. Okay, I take my time. If you try to rush through it, you're going to make him panic more. Okay? I did it. I'm still on 10. The reason why I haven't bumped it yet is because he's still doing what I need him to do. If he was being resistant or like, I'm not going to do it. 10, 13, 16, 19. Okay, Jesse. Okay, good. Okay, heel. Good. Yeah. Yeah. So, who wants to work with me first? That's it. Yeah. Very good. Put your leash. Hold your leash. I know you're upset. He was here, like this. Okay. Stop. Okay. Hold your leash, like this. This. Okay. This locks your leash here. Touch. Yep. This locks your leash. Yep. If you hold like this, that happens. Right? So, or if you're holding like this, that'll break your hand, right? So you always want to lock your leash just like that. Then what you're going to do is we walk Harley on the left. Okay? When you walk Harley, what you want to do is go ahead and stand next to them. Let this go down. Just like that. When you walk with them, you want to be relaxed. Because when you're like this, you're going to start to pull them again. Okay? If you see them get up, so you use it here. Okay? Yeah. 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 Here. Take this here. And then let people up. Yeah. 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 Go up. Yeah. 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 Good. And now I want to say next to what's on your left. Good. Now here, pull up, step. Good. And then go to the left again. Grab higher. There you go. Up. Yeah. A little more. Yeah. 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 Good. Go to right now. Let's go to 13. So right now, Harley, because he already knows us. Right? Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. One very straight. So you see I'm doing all this stuff here? This is because of old association. He's thinking before, I will jump on dad, right out, listen to dad, bark at dad. He's thinking all that. You have to make up your, it's unlearning. So now you're having to be more strict. Okay? So right now, what we're doing is just telling him, keep your butt next to me. Don't jump on me, don't lay down, just keep your butt right there. And every time he gets up, you're just using this and a little bit of the leash to teach him. Right there, doesn't right? You're being very strict, but you're not. You don't have to be mean. Okay. The more he does this, the better, because it allows you to teach him. No, you're not going to do it. Okay. So, questions over.
You can sit the whole time.
Oh, so when you say sit,
Sit, but
yeah, sit and then up and down. Okay.
and lay down.
The down is the.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now all we're worried about is the sits. Okay, what is that this time? So when you walk with him, and after you set this, you can have this like that. This makes it easier. Yeah.
When we say tap, tap.
That's what. And you don't have to do this when you work with Harley by yourself. You don't say that. I say that for you, and you can say it for me, so I know what you're doing, right? So here, you're gonna relax, and you're gonna say heel, and you're just gonna start walking like this. Okay? So, there you go. So Harley's job, yep, but turn, is to walk right next to you. Okay? His right shoulder should line up with your left leg. Okay? Now here, if this happens, tap and turn, tap, move, tap, move. Good. And go ahead and walk around Harley here. Tap, 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 keep moving, tap. Good. And bring Harley back right here again. Okay? Good. Tap. Stop right there. Up. Tap. Tap.
Sit.
Tap. Right there. Right. Good. So when Harley passes you, right, because he got distracted, he goes, you did good. When he goes, you always go opposite to the right. There we go. And relax. Good, right? So when he passes, like when he went to that other bed there, you just turn, start tapping, the bridge arm in here. Good, and relax. Good, okay? So most people start to pull back. That makes them pull more. Okay? So if he decides to go, I go ahead. But I'm going to annoy you, and I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go the other way until you're back here, right? And And him laying down, because he just came from like a 45-minute, hour-long walk with him. Yeah.
Tired.
He's tired, right? Yeah. 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 But he still has to do it. Okay? So we have old association with you where we can do what he wants, and we have possibly a tired dog. It doesn't matter. You just give him that. Like 17.
He's doing that because that's the first thing he would do very percent.
Oh, really? Lay down?
Yeah.
That rubs belly. Yeah. There we go. Like that. And relax. Good. So when we go this, place. Yeah. There it is. So. Yeah. Good. So. With him laying down right there, I'm done. Back here, super strict. Okay? Because whether he's tired, whether he's being a brat, if you let it happen, he learned, I don't have to do what you say. Okay? That's the toughest part for people, is reinforcing it to that degree. Because they love their dog. The dog is not really doing anything bad, right? On the scope, like, people always think about aggression. Like, if my dog's not biting anybody, it doesn't matter. Like, but it does matter. Because he's not paying attention. Yep, and walk. Yep. Oh. Yeah, and he's done that to us too. Good. Yep. And relax. And tap. Good. Right there. Yeah, good. Sit. Up. Yeah. And relax. Good. Now, when you say heal, and if you add another client, I think you just say like almost or something like that, instead of heal. Yeah, they did just like Spanish. You can do that too. And if you want, we can teach that. It don't matter. If you want Spanish, we can.
En vez de decirle en inglés, le dimos en español.
We can do Spanish commands. Well, let's go. Or let's go. There we go. Let's go. Yeah. So then your command will become let's go. Right? It's the same thing. It's just different. Is when you come to a stop, don't say sit. You just do this. Okay? Because he's supposed to do it automatically. So let's go. Yep. And then use your leash. Got it. Yep. Stay up. Yep. Almost right there. And then just be positioned. So if when you're in heel means up. Yep. Heel means walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop. That's let's go. Okay? Let's go. Start walking. He's here. I slow down. He sits. Okay? So if you say sit, what happens is let's go, sit. Let's go, sit. Let's go, sit. You always have to say it. Does that make sense? So then I just want to say as little as possible. So let's go. Stop. Yep, good. If he doesn't sit, I start tapping and I pull up. Because then he thinks, if I don't want to get this, I should just sit right away. Does that make sense? Yep. Good. So we're going to try this again. You're going to say, let's go. We're going to start walking. And when you come to a stop, anytime you stop and anytime you're going to turn, you always want to slow down. Okay? It's like driving. Before you stop, you slow down. Yep, tap. Good. Before you stop, you slow down. Before you turn, you slow down. Because it lets the person know behind you something's changing, right? So the dog, if you're walking, if you just stop, Harley's going to keep going. It's too fast. Exactly. So you want to always slow down first. We're walking, I slow down, I stop. Harley should sit. If he doesn't, I pull up, I tap. Go. Relax. You're right. Tap. You're right. There you go, tap. Good. And relax. Tap. Up. Yep. Good. And good. There you go. Good boy.
How do you swap, right?
Excuse me?
How do you swap?
Or do you tell them? Does he tell them you're going again? Or
Yeah, so I always say, let's go. Every time I go from stop to move.
okay.
Okay, let's go. Good. Yeah. Good. And raise. Good. Right. Very good. So let's try this again. What we're going to do here, you see this? Like this. Okay? Like this. So you always want to be relaxed. Okay. And this is something that everybody does. They come up here. They're so used to controlling the dog. Yeah. If you do this, you're going to start doing this again. Okay? And it's going to untrain him. So just like we can train him to do what we want, we can train him to do what we don't want. Okay? So if I'm relaxed, yep, good, and relax, good. If I'm walking with Harley like this, and I start to feel pulling, what does that mean? Yep. Right. The pulling tells me Harley, yep, good. The pulling tells me that Harley is doing something over here. Right? Because I'm relaxed. But if I'm pulling Harley already, there's no, I don't know what he's doing. I don't give him the opportunity, right? So you have to give him the opportunity to make mistakes in order to teach him what not to do. Okay? So we're going to go to relax again. And you're going to just do let's go. You're going to walk around and stop. We're going to do that a couple of times, okay? Go. Yeah, go. Go. Keep walking. Yeah. Good. Oh, yes. Correct. Good. Yep, and then tap up. Yep. 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 Good. Welcome to having a great day. Go ahead and let's go. Go. Good. Let's go. Yeah, good. I'm going to have you walk Harley. You're bring over right here. Stop. Yeah. And place.
Place.
Yeah. There. And here.
Stop.
Yeah. And go to the point. And swap. Questions so far?
No, I'm taking training to stop Marco and as well with him to help us with the training.
Right.
As we continue saying stop and go, stop, no, I'm going to, so
Yeah, and
I see
everybody
that
does
stuff,
right? So, the first thing is always just being aware.
right?
Because if you can catch yourself and say, oh, I can do this, you can stop yourself. Most people don't know what to do. You know, like the dog will walk up to the owner will just hold them. The dog will walk away and I'll say, the dog's looking at you. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, well, you just got the dog. I'm like, what? Yeah, the dog's looking at you. Like, oh, I don't know, right? It's so subconscious. It's so limited. It's the same thing with making mistakes. So here, that's what I was for. We already know how to train dogs. We already know how to work dogs. That makes obviously training easier for us. But what makes it difficult is then the transition, it's the transfer. Right? What I like about the work problem though, is
And remember that that's how it was being trained.
right. So with like the harness is just a lot of pulling, right? It's more powerful because he can put his body into it. Right? This removes all that kind of gray area. But it doesn't matter if I press it on 15 and you press it on 15, right? Press it on 15, it's the same. And when you was trained, this goes, oh, okay, cool. Let's do this. Now, in some cases, like it could be the husband or the wife, boyfriend or girlfriend, it doesn't matter. If one person is softer than the other person, they're not as confident. So dog will not listen to them. Higher number. Right? So we can make what you say mean more by raising the number. So your number could be 25, Frank's could be 13. Right? So then we have the ability to close that gap. So all right, it doesn't matter. But if I don't take mom seriously, because mom won't help. Makes sense. So I'm gonna have you here. Before you grab part of these, don't say anything. Okay, good. So he's not supposed to move, right? Because he's in place, so he's supposed to stay there. So what I would suspect is that if he wants to pick up the leash, he gets up too, right? He does. Good. Here, holding the leash, let's have you walk around on the outside. Good. That's when I walk back down again. Good. Put it crazy. Yep, you can touch it. Good. Go ahead and drop your leash.
Drop the leash.
Drop it. And then walk away. Good. Right? So, that's a distraction. Good boy, Harley, right? It's mom. So when you leave, I'm expecting she's gonna follow. Right? So these are little things that we can do to test to see like how well do you understand this and within the home. Okay? They're simple things, but they can mean a lot. Let's go to grab each in. And then since he's gonna be on your right, you want to come over here and you're gonna stand next to Harley. Okay? And you're good. And you're going to say the word, let's go. And you're just going to start walking.
Let's go.
Okay, walk.
Let's go first.
Walk. There you go. And relax. Good. Relax more. Turn to your right. To your right. There you go. And relax. There. So your left hand will start like this. Okay. Go ahead and turn this way. Keep turning. Go ahead and walk slow. Slower. Go ahead and turn to your right. Tap. Tap. Good. Now here. Up. Yeah. Yeah. Up. Keep still. Right there. Okay. Go ahead and position yourself on. Yeah. Just like that. Perfect. So, did you see what you did right there? So, you were walking slow, and Harley decided to sniff my jacket.
Oh, yeah.
You turn, you tap, and then you yank. Okay? You don't want to do that. You want the remote. Okay? Because if we're building to off-leash, the way that we do this is everything's done through the remote as much as possible. If we use the leash, well, when you take the leash off, what happens?
Yeah.
You don't have it. All you have this, right? And that becomes part of the training because you're so used to the leash turning him that he becomes dependent on it as opposed to just the remote itself. Okay? So everybody does this, right? But you were completely unaware, right? So I point that out so that now you're like, okay, when I'm turning up, tap, up, tap, right? Hold still, yep, and up, yep, and relax. Good. Now, one thing here, because this thing with dates is they swivel a lot, and they got that long body, is people tend to move. Stay put. Up, tap, turn to your right, tap. There you go. Tap. Up. Yep. There we go. Good. Perfect. You want to anchor yourself as best as possible, right? It's like here when you ran there, if you would have turned like this and tapped, it would have brought you here. So you're technically still within the spot, right? I'm staying in this area as opposed to this. This is movement, right? So as long as you're anchored within the spot, it's okay if you pivot. You just don't want to move. Tap, tap. Be so lazy. Tap, tap, yep, tap. A little bit of full tap. Good. Yep. And then careful behind you. Yep, yep. Up.
Myself still.
Yeah, wait. Up. Yep. And relax. Good. Yes. This is it. See how he leans and all that? That's all great stuff. Okay. The problem is obviously he weighs a lot. Is it puts a lot of weight on you. That best you can try to counter him using like your hips and stuff. Okay. I'm going to relax, and then you see how you tighten up your leash on the left, right hand? Let that go, just like that, okay? So you don't want to, because what happens is the tightening up becomes more and more and more and more. Next thing you know, your hand's completely wrapped up. And I've had to break fingers, because if the dog nuts, it crushed their hand, okay? So you always want to be as relaxed as possible. The way you're holding it should prevent him from pulling it out of your hands, okay? And of course, always use this to control him as opposed to this, okay? Whenever you're ready, let's go.
Let's go.
Walk, yeah, good. Good. Now slow down here, slower, and stop, good. Up, yeah. Yep. Almost anchor yourself. You got it. Good. And what I would do here is when you go to pull up, I want to be closer to here, because when you grab here, he's got all this space to move around, so it helps keep him more here and prevent all this movement from happening. Now, one thing that I like is when you slowed and stopped, he was right next to you. Okay, so let's go.
Let's go.
Go ahead and turn to your right.
To my right?
Yeah, yeah. So if he starts to cross over you like that to pass, turn to your right. And relax. 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 Arms down. Keep moving forward. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Good. There you go. Yep. Turn in. Good. And slower. Good. Stop. Now here, grab a little bit higher. Here. Now up. Yep. There you go. I'm not going to care that he's so long that when he sits back here. I just keep going. Okay, good. Back to his right position again. Very good. So that was much better. He didn't swivel around as much because we didn't give him that much space. Now when you pull him, it's just enough that he feels it. Not a lot, like it's choking him, or it's yeah, like you don't want to get it right. You can use it on the collar. Yeah. So we were just using this for now, but when you work with him, you can have this on. We also have the prong as well. Okay. So right now we've been working with the e-collar because we want this to do all of our work. But if we need to, we have the prong to just give you a little bit more control. Okay. Because Because definitely with these bigger guys, if he like decides one day like the first thing you're gonna go to is that, it'll just help stop. Okay? Whenever you're ready, let's go.
Good job.
Good. Let's slow stop. Up. Right there.
So this, when we do this, that's gonna be like the sign to fit.
Yeah, and what's gonna happen is
I didn't even press it and he said,
you always want to press it.
okay.
Okay? Because eventually you don't even want to have to do this. You just want to be able to do this. Right? It's supposed to be automatic.
Okay.
But right now we're transferring everything that we've done to you now. Right? Because he knows what to do, it's just whether or not he wants to do it, because he knows he can get away with it. Okay? So from here, I'm going to have you go to say place and send them right here.
Wait.
Yeah, there he goes. Good. Go to drop your leash. Step away. Very good. Oh, you still got more.
Oh, okay.
This is just so we're going over all the stuff, right? So here, place, send them, he goes. What he decides to do from there, right? Now, if you decide, it's him standing, and I saw you start tapping. You want it more, right? You want him to lay down. That's fine. Because technically, if you keep him standing, he's more inclined to leave that before you go, you can say no, calm down a bit more, and then he leaves like less likely to break. Right? So you can absolutely do that. And what's your number right now? 17. Alright, so $7 higher than earlier. I think it's like 13. So, questions so far?
So before we leave in place, we come back and say that.
Technically, right? But if there's no one there to reinforce it, you might get sneaky. Right? That'll happen. Have I trained dogs in the past to not move? Yes. For 8 hours. But I've had trained dogs where the dog will sometimes like lay down or go in place, and they'll be like in the living room while they're in the kitchen, and the dog will. But it requires them to work through it. In the beginning, the dog will move because he's thinking, or she's thinking, you're not here. So do I have to do this? Right? So it's like me as a kid, my mom said, don't watch TV. You can't watch TV. And then was like, oh, I have to run errands. Watch your brothers and sister. I watched TV because she wasn't there to make it happen. Right? So realistically speaking, it's difficult to keep reinforced to that extent, but technically that's the thing. If I say lay down to move, you don't move no matter what. I don't care. It's like 24 hours. You don't. Okay? Go ahead and put the dish again. Good. So when I have to say here, just going to say break.
Break.
And walk with them. Okay. Right. Do a little talk. I'll give a tap. And a little pull. Yes. Pull. There it is. Good. Now technically, he didn't have to move. Right? Because break means you're done. He goes, alright, well, I still want to be here. That's technically okay, right? But if it's like break, I need you to move, you can. I always start with the leash first, and then I can get with the remote if needed. I'm like, no, you need to get off of that. Okay? So now, because he's not in the heel, you're going to say sit.
Sit.
And then up. Right there, relax. Good. So now, he's in the sit, he's not in the heel. Right? So he's supposed to be like this and not move. It's implied. Okay, so we don't need to say stay. So what you're gonna do here is keeping your hand how you have it, is you're gonna just walk around Harley like that. If he gets up, you're gonna pull up and tap. You wanna try going around the other way? Good, right? So he should stay put. So sit means put your foot down. Nope. Put it around a little bit. Excellent. And then now you're going to put up the heel so when you hold the leash quickly. Loop around your right hand, right thumb. There you go. And then there you go. And then relax. And then you
Heel.
walk forward. That's place.
Oh, what's heel?
Heel's the walk.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So it's okay. So just move. Just walk. Pivot to your hip forward. Yep. And just walk forward. Or let's go. I'm sorry. I forgot we need the let's go, right?
Let's go.
Yep. And then you move. And then relax. Yep. Turn. Yep. Yep. We're going to ignore that now. Okay. Right. So with let's go, there's different turns. You have turning to your left, and you're going to have turning to your right. Okay? There are specifics here. When we say let's go, if you're going to turn left, you want to turn left with your right leg. Like that. Okay? You want to turn left again, with my right leg. Like that. If you're going to turn to your right, you're going to turn with your left leg. Like that. Okay? If you're going to do on a Daycare, you're going to be walking and you're going to extend your left leg like this, back on your right leg. Okay, I'm going to show you. This is what people get really mixed up on. Okay, because it requires you to think about what your legs are doing. Okay, so let's go. So I'm going to turn left here. So we're walking. Slow down, and then right, left, right. Okay, so I'm not tapping here. I slow down.
That way I'm not bumping my leg with Harley.
That, yeah, right. So when you come with the right leg, Harley sees it. Something like that. And naturally, this is nothing that we taught him. It's just natural. It's like dancing, right? If you have a good dancer with an inexperienced dancer, they can make them look good because they know how to lead with their body. Same thing here, right? All we've done is I know how to walk with my legs that tell Harley this is what I'm going to do, okay? So then, if I want to go back this way, I of course slow down, and I'm going to extend my left leg and then back like that. Tap, it's a little slow. I'm going to slow down, extend my left leg, tap. Like that. Okay, so those don't tap there. Slow down, extend my leg, back. See how he sees it? And then he starts to turn his head. Does he understand that, oh, this must mean something? Now, if he's too slow, tap. I can tap him to speed him up. Because this is where he's supposed to be. And again, left, like that. Okay, we're going to turn left, slow down, right, left, right, just like that. I come and stop. Yeah. It's really far back, buddy. Good. Let's go. And the other thing is, when we say let's go, you want to lead with your left foot. I don't know if you guys saw that. You saw it again. We're going to walk, do that, right. So here, let's go, left leg, like that. Okay. The reason why we do this is in more advanced training, left leg means walk, or let's go. Right leg means no move. Okay. So when we start talking about stay and stuff like that, it'll make more sense. So anytime you say let's go, you want to have good. Lead with this leg. Let's go. Good. And stop. No one stops with me. Good. Let's go. Left leg. Good. I want to turn left. I turn with my right leg. Good. Just like that. Okay. Who wants to go first? So the first thing you're going to do is let's go left leg. Like that. So, yep, good. Right, left, right. Relax. Your arms down. Good. Relax the arm. Good. Put it slow. Stop. Good. And relax. Good. Right. And let's go. Left leg. There you go. Good. We're going to do that a couple of times and we're going to start walking with turns. Good. Good. Let's try one more. Let's go. Good.
No, I would say this one.
Right? No. Like as long as you move left leg, you don't need to say let's go. But if you say break or give them a new command, you would have to say let's go because that one's different from the other. Good. Okay. So now, do that differently. So here, let's go, right? You're going to walk. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start turning left. So you're going to do right, left, off.
It's not left.
Oh, just turn left, right, like that.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, no.
Right, left, right. Right, left, right. Right, left. I'm going to have you try this. You're going to try to do it within 3 steps. Okay? Right? 1, 2, 3. Okay? One, two, three. Okay. Because when you're on the sidewalk, you're not going to have 2, 3. You're not going to have a lot of space. It's 3 steps within the sidewalk. There you go. 1 more. 2, 3. Okay. So you see how he just walks with him? Right? You don't need to tackle because he's reading what your leg is doing. So the last one is walking. Left leg. Boom, boom. Okay. Going right. Yep. Back. Good. Yep. Perfect. Yep. Good. Now, if you feel like Harley is, because on that one, it looks like you kept going, right? Tap. Here you go. Yeah, good. That's there. Good. And slow. And stop. Good. Good. Let's go and swap. Good. So first thing you're gonna worry about is just let's go. Okay. So let's go, and then left leg. Okay. Don't worry about the turns yet. Slow, stop, up. And this one, just go ahead. Okay, in, and go. And that's optional. Like, let's say you don't want to say it, you don't have to, as long as you pull with that left leg. Or you can say it if you want, it doesn't matter. I always say it just as a habit, but some people, they have different ways about it. What's that?
As long as the dog understands.
Yeah. I'll show this. There you go. Good. Let's go. Three more.
Let's go.
Good. Yeah. Right now, don't worry about the turns. Just do the best you can. Good. And it's slow to stop. Yep. Up. Yeah. Good. And we're trying two more. Let's go.
Let's go.
Left leg. There you go. Good. Yep. Keep moving. There you go. Good. Yep, that's fine. Good. Slow stop. Good. Go. Good. It's okay. Put a step back. And one
He
more.
doesn't further instinct.
Good. Okay. There you go. Forward left leg. Good. And relax. Keep moving. Relax your left arm. There you go. Good. Good. Slow stop. Ready. Good. And relax. Okay. So now you're going to do your turns. First we're going to worry about is your left turn. Okay. So when you're walking, right. So it's real sharp, right? Left, right. So move in. 3 steps. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Slowing down before you turn so that you're not having to bump into Harley. Okay. Whenever you're ready. Yep. Left, right. Yep. Very good. Very good. And relax your left arm. Good. Right, left, right. Just yep, keep going forward. There you go. Good. But you see how you just pivoted off?
Yeah.
It's good. Right, left, right. That's okay. Very good. 2 more. Relax left arm. Good. Right, left, right. Good. Last one. Right, left, right, slow stop. Good. That's fine. Very good. Okay, he's getting tired. So now we're gonna do the about turns. Right? So let's go. Moving. Extend. Back on the right. Okay. Extend the left leg. Back on the right leg.
Tired.
I know, but a little more. Okay, whenever you're ready.
When I'm going to turn, I just extend.
Yeah,
It
just
has to be the left leg.
yeah. That's the one closest to Harley, right?
Okay.
And then back.
Okay. Let's go.
Yep, and back. Perfect. Yep, just like that. And relax. Good. Yep. Up. So that turn. Right, so you want to go to your right? Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Try it again.
When I'm extending, it's to make it a turn, right?
Yeah. So extend your left leg, and then back to your right. Other way. Other way. Like that. There you go. Yep. There you go. And then left to your right. Perfect, like that. Good. And relax. Oh, careful. Relax your leash because you want Harley to follow your legs.
Okay.
So left, back to your right. There you go. Like that. Try giving a little slack here. Over the left hand. A little bit more. little bit more slack. Like that. Good. Try it again. That to the right. Good. Yep. There you go. See how he's following you? Good.
What about without the leash?
Right. So that's why this is important. Okay.
Training him.
Yes. So here, that's why you don't want to use it, because when we remove it, if you're used to doing this, he gets used to it. So you want to let him. You want to refrain from pulling as much as possible, and let the remote do all the work for you. So go ahead and put the on this, please. Yeah. There you go. Drag the leash. Yeah. And let walk. Very good. So we have this 30-foot leash. Okay. So right now, you have to learn all this stuff, right? Because the first thing is always, how do I use my remote? How do I use my button? That's what we're doing right now. Once you get Harley and you start practicing, it's going to be easier because now I'm not going to see you for another week, right? Instead, it's going to be a reminder, and then again, and then you go home and you start doing stuff. And you're going to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, okay? When we start to go to no leash, we use a long leash. Okay? Because if you just go from this to no leash, you're not going to know. Things are going to happen that you're not going to know how to fix, right? We do. So we go from short leash to long leash to long leash dragging to no leash. That's the process. Okay? Because it's weird for everybody when they no longer have the leash to limit controlling your dog and not having that connection is very weird. Okay? So you have to develop all these skills. You'll know everything, but you won't. So then it's my job, once he goes home, to then help you learn all the stuff that we already know and that he already knows. Okay? So once he's ready to go home, you'll get a leash like this, 30 feet. It doesn't have to be like this one. They are like $8 to $12 for a regular 30-foot leash. And then you start walking in the park, things like that, and then you start practicing. And you're like, oh, okay, I know how to work with Harley, I know how the off-leash training works, all that other stuff. Okay? So, questions so far?
You don't play with the other dog?
Because the only other dog that we have this size is Jaeger, and both of them and Jaeger are unneutered. And him and Jaeger because they're not neutered. But before, because it's too big. Because if he starts, let's say he jumps on a dog, and he's 120, yeah. The dogs that we have here, like the biggest one is like 40 pounds. Yeah, so there's a big difference, right? The other guy that we had wasn't neutered either. The other big dog, the other Great Dane. So technically, with the remote collar, we can stop the fight, right? But they're so big that if a fight happens, they're going to do a lot of damage, right? Now there was a dog, or that he was over here and he was sniffing, he was wagging his tail, he wanted to play, and he was like 3 times her size. So we play a lot of ball with him. Now we're taking him out so that we start training outside the walks and everything, so that he is getting up, he's getting his exercise. If I got like another Great Dane that I think or another big dog that I think he'd play well with, we would integrate them. But we just haven't had that personality come in yet. But from what we've seen, he looks, other than with Jaeger, he seems friendly. Yeah. Other than sniffed everything, I just tell him stuff. With you guys, did you ever play with dogs?
No, it's Chihuahua. The Chihuahua.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah. So the Chihuahuas?
Yeah.
Was it a French Chihuahua or just outside?
It's a Chihuahua and trying to choose to aggressive.
Sure.
Yeah, like,
she's been part of
Sounds good.
Yeah, how did you respond? Did you say?
He's like nothing, he just letting him staring at her like crazy dogs.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do. Yeah, so if we get a dog, like most likely a female that comes in that we think can work with, we can breed them. But all the big guys that we got were all under. We had another dog, he's 130 pounds. You can see him. Did you see him? Yeah, Coda. He also is not dog friendly. Right? And he was here with us for like a week, and I wanted to integrate them together to see if they would like. But he was so stressed out that he wouldn't have it, so we didn't push him. But yeah, if we get that dog, well, I think he's perfectly capable of it. More than one dog? Yes. Yeah, we can do that. It just takes, it would require, like if we have Harley, right, he's already trained, let's say the other dog's already trained, it's easier. As opposed to one dog's not trained and Harley is trained, so I'm worried about the other dog. Yeah. Other questions? So, because he's got 2 more weeks with us. And then we have one more 1 hour one, and then we have another long, because this is 1 and 2, and all in one session. How are you feeling so far? Yeah, no, he's good. It's just with his mechanics.
Yeah.
Like when he sits, he comes all the way back, right? And he's clearly, tired.
So you recommend the day because on the leash,
He stays in the cage, but he's able, like the cage opens once a week. But he's first week, we close. We close it, it's like the whole entire night.
I got you. So that's how you have it set up right now?
Yeah.
I got
Should
you.
we change something?
No, I think it's fine. Like so, is he in a room with the
Yeah.
Okay. How big is the room?
The space for him is like 6 by 8.
Oh, okay, sure. And what's in the room? Just a kennel? Just a cage?
No,
Oh, yeah, like close.
it's like that. Next to it's a pocket.
I got you. Sure. To me, it sounds fine. And then when we do the in-home stuff, like I can take a look. But I think what you have is perfectly fine. So yeah, so he has space to move during the day, but at night you come in there and you close it. Now, what did he do before overnight? Did he ever get into trouble overnight, like chewing stuff or?
Well, we were in that apartment that he was in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like wild, flying first. That's why his transitioning into a big change. He was out,
Yep.
pretty fine,
Yep.
running jungle so far, and just doing his own thing. And then once in a while, he wanted attention. When we went to bed, he would start chewing out.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so then he would tell him to stop, he would get him to go to sleep, and then all of a sudden, he would start itching.
Yeah.
It was rare, but it happened.
Sure. And at that point, was he getting any corrective exercise?
No.
No, he was just had the space. Yeah.
Yeah, because he got to the point of control. Actually, I think we have his walkers.
Wow.
It's like when we haven't walked.
Oh, no.
Yes, it's like walkers. We have not walked in
It's just so. Typically when it comes to stuff like this, the family will stop. It's just a pain, right? Then the dog is trained, and then they start doing more stuff with the dog. It's not the dog behavior, right? It's definitely a big factor. It's just exercise. Harley is meant to go out and hunt, kill birds, squirrels, rabbits. And you might think no, he doesn't know. But he's there. That's what he's supposed to be doing. So because human technology has allowed us to have kibble and feed them without them having to hunt, without us having to hunt, right? But that's part of the process. So if he doesn't have that outlet, like he just gets pent up, there's no exercise, he's gotta do something, right? And so definitely once you get him back, and I understand with weather, like depending on the dog, depending on the human as well, we walk our dogs less during the winter time. Is we will have to find some sort of outlet for him, because if it's still just cooped up, even if you're doing place command all the time, there's no movement, there's no outlet, there's no exercise, right? There's only mental. You need something physically to get him to burn up the energy as well. Okay. Do you guys have a trim? No. Okay. Sure. I'm not saying you have to, but like if you're like, oh, you don't get a treadmill. Like I had 2 treadmills. One I paid $100 for, the other one was $150. I bought them used. Otherwise, you do want to do some exercise with him. Like he just came back for a 45-minute hour walk, and like he's tired, right? Sure, he doesn't need a lot of exercise, right? So it's a very fine balance of you want to eat, and then he gets what he wants to eat. Otherwise, if it's just what you want, he's going to get frustrated. Okay, so that's just something to bear in mind. With training, you have control. You can walk when he doesn't can't go along and stuff like that. So I hope that motivates you to actually do more with him. Okay. He also likes paintball. Yeah. So that's a nice way to kind of burn off energy as well. It's not the same as walking. Walking is structured, whereas the ball is just playing. Okay. So walking is always the best thing that I tell people because it's both discipline and it's exercise as well. It's going out and seeing the world, things like that. John?
So what about the garden? Sometimes.
Yes.
Okay. Are you out with him or not?
Yes. He has a hard time being touched.
Oh, really? Sure. Oh, really? So if you put him outside and close the door, he just stands by the door?
No, just for scratching the door until he finds the door.
So, a couple of things. One is if you put him outside, if you start scratching the door, you just use that now, right? And he might just lay down, but it'll take time for him to go like, okay, we get up and start walking around. But if you're not out there, you might chew the flowers in the garden, okay, because you're not there to watch him. When you're out there with him, if he's chewing the flowers, because this is meant to stop behaviors. So if he's, like I had clients that only want their dog to pee in one spot, right? And you'll see the dog trying to pee over here, boom, the dog run over and pee over here. Okay? So you can get pretty specific with the collar. It just takes time, okay? So anytime you want to stop anything, you're just using that. And ideally, you want to have him set up before he starts doing the behavior. So most people wait, like, oh, now the dog is chewing, let me go get the remote, put it on him. It's too late. If you know you're going to put him in the yard, put the collar on, okay? If you know you're going to put him like in the living room and on the placemat or whatever, you don't want to worry about him getting up and chewing something, put it on, okay? He doesn't need to wear it 24/7, but when you know you need it, put it on.
Is it that we see up? Correct?
So, whenever you want to eliminate a behavior, you don't say anything. Okay, you just promote. Whenever you want to control a behavior, you want to say something first and then promote. So, like, let's say you don't want Harley to bark. Let's say you don't want Harley to bark you don't care if he barks at people, but you don't want him to bark at like dogs and stuff. Okay. Let's say you want to control that. So when he barks at people, I don't do anything. But when he barks at dogs, if you want to control it, you would just say quiet or whatever word, and then start promoting. So technically, he thinks I can bark until you say quiet. Okay? If you want him to just not bark at dogs at all, you don't say anything. You just promote. So then he thinks, if I bark at a dog, this this happens, and if I don't want this to happen, I don't work with dogs. Okay? So like for a human, you can teach somebody you don't take things that aren't yours, and they know that. Right? They don't have to do it to find out. Dogs are like that. He technically has to do it in order to learn whether or not he can or can't do it. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's a tiny detail. So like let's say jumping on you. Let's say you want Harley to never jump on you. He jumps on you, you just remote, you don't stay off. Okay? But let's say you invite Harley to jump. He's up. You would then need a word to tell him, okay, off. Because you told him to come up. So it would be confusing to just remote out of nowhere. Right? So whenever Harley, and you can make a list, the stuff that you don't want Harley to do ever. Right? Just remote. And the stuff you want Harley to not do when you tell him to not do it, you come up with the word. Okay? And once you get them in the home, like, it'll make more sense because then you'll be kind of like understanding, like, oh, like this is the stuff that we don't want, and then it's just reinforced. Okay? Other questions?
So practically here, how is Harley's playing?
That's a lot of structure. Okay? So like overnight he's kennel. In the morning we take them out, they potty, put them back in the kennel, we feed them. Once they're done eating, they come out here. Right? We have daycare dogs coming in and playing, and then we have 4 to 5 handlers coming every day, including myself. And they have their checklist, right? So like Enrique will come in, he'll grab Harley, take up, he'll start training, sit down, place, stay, heel, come, right? He works with them 20, 30 minutes, brings them back, Harley goes back to lay down, or he might run him out to the potty, then lay him down, then like 2 hours later, Ashley comes by, she gets Harley, she works for 20, 30 minutes, she might run out the potty, put him in the kennel, let him rest for a bit, right? Maybe come 3, 4 o'clock, Brianna comes in, grabs Harley, takes him out the potty, trains him, 30 minutes back here, right? And during that time, like if we have puppies that come, then we train puppies here, he's hanging out, we're training dogs here, he's getting distracted with stuff going on here, right? So there's a lot of action going on, a lot of movement, and he's not always here. Sometimes he's here, sometimes he's there, sometimes he's down there where all the dogs are playing, right? Sometimes he's right here, and dogs are coming in and out that door, people walking by. So he's just hanging out. So. No, he brought it, my dad. He came in and he was laying down like here and there, and my dad started talking to him. Hey, buddy, right? I just tapped him, and then he shut up, and he laid back down here. We've not seen any kind of aggression from him. My handlers do muzzle him, because if he starts to protest, he'll start to jump, right? So that because he's big, they get nervous. So they don't feel nervous, they just muzzle him. And then when he's done, he just remove it, and he's free. He's had no issues going in the kennel. He's barked in the kennel a couple of times. He used to, in the very beginning, when you first dropped him off, he was very whiny.
Oh yeah, that's how he is.
That's how he was, yeah. Just remote. Right? And then he'd stop whining. Yeah, so this is from when Harley got me. So there was 4 stitches here, 2 stitches here, 2 here, 2 there. Why? But I thought he was hungry. But this was because when I was holding the leash, when he turned out, because his head's big, and it was right there. With most dogs, they can't reach your knee. So, but he wasn't. He's not aggressive. He did not want to go in the kennel. Never been in the kennel before. He was stressed out, and I only had 2 hours because I had to go to my clients. And the thing is, I was just trying to see if Harley would fit in the kennel. Because I didn't know if it was big enough for him, so I was going to PetSmart. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go put him in the kennel. If it's not big enough, I'm going to go get a bigger kennel, okay? And then he was walking around, trying to bite at the leash. He got me here too, like he had jumped up and boom, got me here because he was scared. And when I brought him over here, because I was like, oh, let me go put a muzzle on him, that's when he bit me. That's when he was like, it wasn't the muzzle, it's just, he was so stressed out. And when I was walking with them, he tried to get away, he hit my hand right there. So, otherwise, pretty good.
So the way we should stop the waiting is just
Yeah. And we don't leave the car in the kennel anymore. You know, like we take it off overnight and everything, and he's quiet. So in the beginning he was very anxious, of course, he's at home, he's out of his element. Now he's kind of calmed down, he's acclimated from all the structure and everything like that. Plus, of course, we didn't let him get away with it. He's pretty chill.
yeah. So we practically went home from 9, from between 8:40 to
Couple of kids are.
and then come home and then last week was pretty tough because we were not letting him do whatever.
Right.
So it was tough.
Yeah.
So he was kind of whining.
Yeah.
So trying to keep him to stop and all that whining. He wanted it because he's not free.
Right.
So
Yeah. No, it's just there's stress because of the change, but it doesn't excuse the behavior. It's just don't care about it. It's real simple, you know. I'm not opposed to more attention and stuff, but not when the dog demands it, because then it becomes more, right? So if he starts crying, stop. You're not going to cry, okay? But of course, it would be unfair if he's getting zero attention or zero exercise, stuff like that. You know, he's a living being creature. You know, he needs interaction. He needs to be out and exercise and stuff like that. So it's there's a balance in all of this. So, okay. Anything else? Okay. So he's doing really well. The next class we're going to work on the other stuff that he knows, like stay down, like you saw some of it, but then we're going to teach more. So today we worked on the heel, worked on place, so then we'll work on, we'll do sit, down, stay, and typically with the long leash or the comp stuff, we tend to work outside because it's more realistic. Depending on how it is, you know, we can do it here because again, that big space there. It's usually harder for people to keep up with the outside stuff during the winter because it's too cold. You know, so we'll just see how that works out. The classes that you get afterwards, they don't expire. So you can use like 1 or 2 after you take them back home again, and if everything's good, great. And then come springtime or summer, you know, we talk to Maria, like Maria, we want to work with Jesse outside. We finish up with that. Okay, and then you're always more than like if you feel like you're doing great, you take them outside, he's doing awesome, and you don't need them to save them. You know, you never know what happens in the year, things like that. So, need a refresher, or like after the next winter, because a lot of times people get lazy, you don't do their training, and then they need a refresher and things like that. So they don't expire, you always have them. Or you can use them all at once.
after he's done doing his training, if we ever travel out, we can travel the same.
You can have boarding here. And if it's just standard boarding, you know, it's not the same price, obviously, it's just $50 a night. If it's a holiday, it's $60. And then we also do tune-ups. So like, let's say maybe Holly's here for 2 weeks, and you would like us to do like 3 to 4 days of like kind of like what we did here to tighten things up. You can do 3 to 4 days, and we'll split it up during the stay, you know, and then the rest of the nights are just regular boarding. I've had people do that before, you know, and then the tune-up days of board and train are cheaper than actual board and train because the dog is already trained. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Good. How you feeling? Good.
Good. Listening.
Yeah, and him jumping all over the place. Yeah. That is less and less and less and less the more we work with them. So.
Yeah, eventually I'm sure he's going to be like that all the time because he's going to learn that it's
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much him, you know, when he's not doing stuff, because it's so much learning, so much practice that he's got. It's kind of like with kids, you know, they can only do so much before they're just like, that's it, they're like tired, right? It's a lot of thinking, same thing for these guys. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So take care.
And we're going to run the customer kitchen on board.
Yeah.
We'll still be there, or we'll be there in front.
roll it.
Okay.
So like, it is, yeah, test marks right here.
Right.
You go ahead and bring it back. I have to keep a little money,
Okay.
but either Anna or my brother will be here.
Here.
Yeah, and I'll let them know that you're coming back to bring the food. Okay?
Okay. I think it was a perfect. Wow. The black one.
Oh yeah, he was here earlier. Another dog, and they didn't see him because he wasn't moving the one time.
Yeah, I thought it was perfect.
No.
Oh, Harley, you continue to be
Let's go this. Yes. He's not under.
Oh, he's not older.
Yeah. So like, if I bring Harley by his kennel, he'll start growling. He's like going to lip. And same thing if we bring him by Harley, he starts growling because they're not good. So it's
Manly.
yeah. Because that's the first thing I thought too. I was like, this guy together because he's friendly too, but because he's not neutered, it's tension, and he doesn't have a muzzle.
Oh, yeah.
So because him we can muzzle up, but then if he decides to do something, Harley's at disadvantage.
Right.
You know. So because he's 130 pounds, I think it is.
Wow. It's not even fit the box.
Oh, this guy?